Hello, welcome back from the lunch break. I'm Jesse Muir Marshall, I should say, and this is Isaac Lee.
Pleased to be back. Sneaky little lunch break. Hope everybody at home has had a good bite to eat, or maybe a good relax. Leading into round number 4.
Round 4.
Yeah.
So we've got 6 rounds today, and round 4 coming up. So we've got 2 players who are 2-1 at the moment in this round on stream. We thought it would be a good chance to feature a dash player. So we've got a dash player who's 2-1, and we've got a Viserai on the other side of the table. So we might just do a quick player profile on the players before we get started on the actual gameplay footage. So we've got Daniel Felton on dash. So Daniel's playing dash. His favourite hero is dash, and his favourite card is high octane. So we haven't got a dash demo team.
Dedicated dash.
So Daniel loves dash. He's been playing Fab for about 9 months. And current XP ranking 5,552 on lifetime and 5,637. So Daniel, a good friend of mine actually from locally, and more of like a casual player, I guess, in general. Plays hard and plays serious, but doesn't grind out matches at 10 different armories a week, and
plays at Grand J Games.
Plays at Grand J Games most weeks.
Yeah.
So he's a local player from Grand J Games. Really, as the profile says, enjoys dash, has been playing dash for most of those 9 months that he's been playing Fab, and has tuned the deck. Thinks about the metagame. We can see from Daniel's list that has thought about prison matchups and having enough 6 power attacks and all those sorts of things. So it's not just a sort of deck that's been cobbled together. It's something with a bit of thought behind it, and Daniel's done well so far, being 2-1.
I remember hanging out with Daniel the first time at Grand J Games. We were playing a draft, and he's like, "Yeah, I've never drafted Flesh and Blood before." Jumps in, wins the draft.
Yeah. So before playing Flesh and Blood, Daniel played a lot of Magic before and stuff as well. So not new to card games.
Yeah.
Daniel's playing Dash, and Toby is our second player, who is playing a Viserai. So Toby's favourite hero, he's playing his Viserai. Favourite hero is Batman. Favourite card is his credit card.
That's so good.
He's been playing Fab since Arcane Rising, and I think Toby's the proud owner of a cold foil Ivophidia that he cracked himself, so one of his prized possessions. And current lifetime XP ranking 91 with 1,350 lifetime XP. So Toby, as we discussed earlier in the stream, top 100 players, and I did double check, the cutoff is after the Calling Indianapolis. So American players will have another chance to gain significant amounts of XP. So Toby's sitting currently within the top 100, but he wants to pick up a few more XP today to really cement his spot in that top 100 and put him out of range for some of those American players who might be... There aren't that many American players close to the top 100 lifetime, because the game was sort of a bit later to start in America in terms of organised play. But they could gain a lot from a calling, so they'll definitely be bringing out the rear. So obviously, Toby would like to win.
Very happy to be 2-1 at this point in time. Also happy to be just picking up some points. Right?
And I've got a nice little message written there on Toby's life counter by the looks of things. I love you too, Toby.
And if we I love Jesse, and then Daniel says, I don't.
What do you think Daniel doesn't do? He hasn't told us. Just, I don't. It's an incomplete sentence.
Yeah, true.
We'll have to ask him after the round.
Yeah. Now, I've never played with or against Dash.
Okay.
So, one of the things that you're going to have to do is explain to me what's going on in Dash's side.
That's fine. I'll let you do it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I can describe that one of the key parts of Dash are the pistols. So you get 2 pistols.
No, the pistol. One
the
pistol.
pistol.
Yep.
Okay, 1 pistol. And the idea is that you want to kind of fire this pistol off multiple times.
Yep.
Now, in order to fire it off, you have to have...
induction chamber.
Induction chamber? Like
to fire it multiple times. So Dash's hero ability says, at the start of the game, you can begin the game with 1 item, mechanologist item in play, with cost 2 or less. So Daniel is usually going to begin the game with an induction chamber in play. And an induction chamber has an attack reaction where you can remove a steam counter from it to give your pistol go again.
Okay.
You can pay a resource once per turn to put a steam counter on it.
So the idea with Dash is that Dash gets a bunch of items in play, and these items kind of boost up your weapon, and it kind of like is an exponential type of thing, or can you destroy the items? Like
there are cards that allow you to destroy the items, but it's unlikely that Toby's going to be playing any of them. So Smashing Good Time from the Everfest set is one of the first cards that it basically gives any attack action you play the ability to destroy an item on hit. But I don't think Toby's going to be playing Smashing Good Time. In fact, it's not in his deck list. So the items, yes, they will, once they're into play, stay there for the rest of the game most of the time. But most of them are actions that don't have go again.
Okay.
So you need to play them at the end of a turn. They're obviously taking a card to play on that turn, so you need to have that available as well. So if there are sort of a couple of ways you can go about Dash. One is to focus on your pistol and play a lot of things like Plasma Purifier, which does a similar thing to Induction Chamber, but rather than giving go again, it gives +1.
Okay.
So if you can get your 3 Plasma Purifiers into play, each of them can give +1 to your pistol for the turn.
Yep.
And then if you've got 3 Induction Chambers in play, you can attack 4 times with your pistol.
And so that would be...
That would be 4 times every
turn. 4, that's 20 damage.
But you have to be able to get 3 Induction Chambers and 3 Plasma Purifiers into play, which is not an easy game state to get to.
Yeah.
And then you have to have the resources to be able to do that, which is you wouldn't be able to do every turn. So you have to have 1 each time you load up an Induction Chamber, 1 each time you load up a Plasma Purifier, 1 each time you attack with the pistol. So each pistol attack costs you 3.
Yeah.
Well, it costs you 2, plus your Plasma Purifiers are effective for the whole turn.
Yeah.
But you need to have a resource each time. So it does get quite resource intensive. The other way is to play a lot of your boost attacks. So Dash's other Mechanologist mechanic is boosting.
Yep.
Which gives all your attacks go again, 0 to 60, which has been pitched there as an example. But Daniel's going with the Induction Chamber pistol play here. So Toby went first. Toby's played a Become the Arknight and a Mordred Titan to Become the Arknight to make 4 rune chants here. So Become the Arknight's the non-attack action that creates a rune chant, and because of Mordred Titan being played beforehand, Viserai also triggers to make the 4 rune chants.
Yeah.
So Toby's sitting here staring down a pistol, which is likely to be another pistol because Daniel's charged up the Induction Chamber, which gets used here. So Toby's facing down at least 4 damage. But if Daniel has a boost attack in between, then he can also threaten a little bit more. So Daniel loads up the Induction Chamber again, so that'll be charged for next turn.
Yep.
Comes in with a boost attack.
So boost, you reveal a top card if it's a...
Mechanologist card, the attack gets go again, so it's a zipper hit. Can't tell quite what colour, looks maybe yellow. And has boosted successfully.
So any hit triggers with this
no.
this attack? Okay.
Or just coming in for some raw damage.
Just some raw damage. And Toby's going to be looking at his hand going, okay, well, like, do I want to block with these cards? Do I want to bleed up rune chants? Do I want to be playing the OTK type strategy, or do I want to be playing like more of a mid-range kind of strat where I just build up some rune chants, but then come in and then build up some more rune chants and then come in and kind of like not one turn, but kind of like some big turns followed by some not so big turns.
So we blocked it was a yellow zipper hit. It's been blocked for 3. We're taking 1 because it's a 4 power attack, and then we've got a 0 to 60 also boosting successfully. Can't tell quite what colour that is, but it's hitting for 3, and then we've got the pistol as well. So a pretty strong start from Daniel. We had a pistol followed by 4 power, 3 power, pistol again.
Okay.
So 11 damage. You know, not a bad turn off a 4-card hand. No arsenal for Daniel there.
Yep. We've got a Morven Skies, which gives the next attack go again. And then we've got a Meet and Greet.
Which signals to us all and to Daniel that this is not going for OTK. We're going for a mid-range. We're going to pop our rune chants each turn and just try and maximise damage.
Yeah. So the Morven Skies looked like a yellow Morven Skies. So if the Meet and Greet hits, then it's going to create 2 rune chants from the Morven Skies. And then if Meet and Greet hits...
It gets... it creates a rune chant, yep. And so it'll create just the 1, yep.
Yeah.
And Toby's created a rune chant from playing the Meet and Greet as well. So Meet and Greet will create 1, and then it'll create another 2 if that's a yellow Morven Skies.
Yeah.
So 3 total, it's threatening on hit.
So a Meet and Greet, that's the one that if you've done arcane damage, then it has go again.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it has go again for the Morven Skies. So.
Yeah.
Yep.
So double go again at this point.
Yep.
Which
so taking the 4.
does not stack.
Does not.
So go to 36, and then looks like we're going to see a block for 3, and then in with a Rosetta Thorn, which will do 2 physical, 2 arcane, plus the 1 arcane from that rune chant.
So I think that might be a blue meet and greet, judging by the fact that Daniel blocked for 3 and doesn't appear to have... The on-hits don't appear to have triggered. So I think that was just a blue meet and greet coming in. And then a throttle to block the Rosetta Thorn.
Yep.
So the Arcane got through... I think, no, maybe... Whatever. It maybe blocked the Arcane, actually. I didn't see a pitch. Not sure what happened there.
Yep. We'll let them sort that out.
Yep.
So they're on...
and Daniel just Arsenal and pass back.
Yeah. So pretty good turn for Toby here in having tempo. So being the one that is asking the questions, and Daniel chose to block out there and not take any damage, but then only re-Arsenal something there. Toby's got the Arsenal plus 4 cards in hand. Question is, are those cards defense reactions? Because this would be an awkward turn to have defense reactions.
So there's a lead the charge in Arsenal there, which is not the most powerful here, but it's okay. Yep. So it just lets Toby have an extra attack, and I can see a Spellblade Assault in his hand, so that means that he could conceivably play that and then come in with something else, because the Spellblade Assault doesn't actually have Go Again, but it's being pitched for a Dread Triptych, which similarly is a reasonably powerful attack, doesn't have Go Again, but now there's 2 action points because of the lead the charge.
Okay, so we're going to create some rune chants from both the Dread Triptych and from Viserai. And we've got an extra action point because...
Lead the charge generates an action point.
Okay. Does Dread Triptych have Go Again normally?
No.
Okay. So Dread Triptych does a bunch of things which all basically create a rune chant.
Yes.
So when you attack with it, you create a rune chant. If you've done arcane damage, create another rune chant. And if it hits physically, then create another rune chant. So asking a lot of questions here of Daniel to both prevent the arcane damage and prevent the physical damage. Otherwise, those rune chants are going to accumulate.
Okay, so we just saw the Foundry Heart come out for a block there. So Daniel's... I mean, he's got the Skull Cap, but he was ahead on life. So he elected to go with the Foundry Heart. But Daniel doesn't have heaps of equipment that blocks here, because we've got the Null Rune Gloves and the Achilles Accelerator.
So Daniel going down to 30, Toby on 32 and has an Arsenal, but no rune chants. And now we've got Daniel's turn to basically try.
And it's a high octane from Arsenal.
Okay.
So that's a... Sorry to interrupt, but that's a big start to a turn. So these are... It looks like Daniel had that in Arsenal, which means that he opted to Arsenal that last turn, and he's gone double high octane. Okay. So high octane is going to give Daniel an action point whenever he boosts this turn, and it also replaces itself, so it draws a card.
Okay. So, big turn.
Mm-hmm.
That's the idea. Okay, so we're going to boost here. Boost is successful. So we get like...
tracking action points there, so he's got 3 action points.
That's a lot of action points. And is the idea there, because like the pistol is not a once per turn, it's like any number of times?
Yep.
So the idea is to shoot off that pistol.
Yes, and so you can keep reach, so the pistol costs 1 to charge, and then you can attack with it. So as long as Daniel's got resources left, he can attack with the pistol a number of times equal to the number of action points he's got left.
Okay, yeah.
So 3 action points, 2 more resources. So coming in with a few pistol shots here.
Yeah, okay, and how much does that pistol do?
So I don't know whether Daniel has any cards left. I'm just trying to see. So High Octane does replace itself. And I thought Daniel had a... Oh no, because he blocked the Dread Triptych with 1 card. So he wasn't quite starting to turn with a full hand.
So the pistol does 1 damage, or...
2.
2 damage.
Comes in for 2. I'm not sure... I think Toby went from 29 or 28 to 26.
30 to 28 to 26.
To 26, yeah. Just Toby can't draw 8s. That's okay.
And
so
then
boosting, was that?
1 more boost somehow?
I didn't quite see what that was. Oh, it was a Teklo Foundry Heart. So the Teklo Foundry Heart gives Daniel an extra resource.
Yep.
But it's a gamble. So he banishes the top 2 cards. For each Mechanologist card banished, he gets a resource.
Yep.
But it costs a resource.
Okay, so if you banish 2
non-Mechanologist cards, then you get nothing, and you've wasted a resource. If you banish 1 Mechanologist card, you're equal. If you banish 2, then you're up a resource.
Okay. And with mostly Mechanologist cards in your deck?
Yep.
It's a pretty good gamble.
Pretty good gamble.
Yeah.
So Teklo Foundry Heart and Boost are the 2 things that demand that you play a lot of Mechanologist cards in your deck.
Alright, so we've got the Isaac hits the tank card.
Yep, so when Isaac plays this card, become the Arc Knight, the tank is hit pretty hard.
Yeah, it's a complicated card. You search through your library and get any card, pretty much. And Toby is elected to get... can you recognise that card there?
I don't think he got an Oath of the Arc Knight. I thought he discarded Oath of the Arc Knight. Maybe he did get one, actually. So Oath of the Morven Skies. Oath of the Arc Knight gives a buff and a rune chant generation. Yep. So perhaps if Toby has a Morven Skies in hand here, it's a good one to follow up with. But we've just got Spellblade Assault, create a rune chant.
And make 3 rune chants with the Spellblade Assault.
Yep.
1 card in hand. So it could have just been like, I'm going to play this Become the Arc Knight to
have a non-attack action played.
And pitch my red meet and greet to get a blue... I think it was an Oath of the Arc Knight.
Which has looked like been pitched, yep.
Yeah. So basically just getting a generic kind of blue to then just use as resources.
But being down a card to do that when he already started with the blue, so I think he's valuing getting the rune chant.
Yeah, getting the rune chant, turning on the other rune chants.
Yeah.
Now, that Morven Skies has given the Spellblade Assault go again. And we see a full block here because otherwise the Morven Skies will get in.
And then a Rune Flash, which is 4 and 3. Yep.
4 and 3 with the Rune Flash. And we've still got 1 floating here, which means the Rosetta Thorn coming in as well.
So Daniel's currently on 29. I can't quite see how many cards Daniel's got in hand, but I think he's blocked with 1 card so far this turn, so I think 3. If he blocks with... I think he probably just wants to take 7 here. It puts him to equal on life. Then he can...
so he's taking the Rune Chance to start with.
Chance.
Down to 26. And now he's just deciding on blocking the Rune Flash, which has 4 power. Go again.
So he is blocking. I mean, it really, from Daniel's perspective here, depends on what he's got in hand. Payload's not an amazing one to have. It's just sort of a 2 for 6 at red.
And then we come in for a total of 5. 2, 2, and 1 with the Rosetta Thorn.
And Daniel going down to 20. So, look, Daniel's kept 2 cards here. That was a reasonably big turn from Toby, but I think Daniel made the right blocks and stopped the triggers, like the trigger on the Morven Skies, so there was no benefit to Toby from anything hitting. And Toby's ended the turn with no rune chants and no cards in the arsenal. Daniel's got, a classic dash 1 card turn. Oh, but it looks like no. So we're seeing a zipper hit as well as a bit of pistol action. So he's charged the pistol, come in with the zipper hit. And that one may be a red, so that may be 5.
Yeah. Now, one of the things that is key here is Toby's on 22, Daniel's on 20, so a slight advantage on life for Toby, but he's facing down some damage now, so probably about even on life.
Yep.
But you might agree with me here in that the big difference is Toby has all of his armor. Mm-hmm. So hasn't blocked with any armor yet. And it looks like Daniel has blocked with the Foundry Heart once, maybe
twice.
Maybe twice.
Yeah, it's got 2 counters.
Got 2 counters on it. So a little bit of a difference in being able to block some big kind of turns here. Mm-hmm. We might see a block with that Scalita just because it can be a card that you might want to combo off with at some point. Mm-hmm. And so if you're going to sacrifice it, you want to have gotten your 2 block out of it.
Yep.
Big question for Toby here, as he's pondering what his options are, is do I want to take this damage? Do I want to block out? Do I want to, what am I doing with my turn?
Yes, and where's the game going from here? Because Daniel right now has no cards left in hand, so he's not going to have an arsenal. So even if Toby were to block out arsenal, I think Toby's probably ahead at that point. Yep. Daniel's already behind on life. Toby's going into the next turn cycle with an arsenal.
Yep.
And Daniel's coming with a 4-card hand.
Yep.
And as you mentioned, Toby's got all his equipment. So if this is not a great hand for Toby in terms of what next turn looks like, I think blocking out here and keeping 1 card to arsenal is perfectly reasonable.
Yeah. Some different options available to Toby, but Daniel is asking the questions.
Yeah, and this is it's a reasonably aggressive matchup. And Daniel is favoured in some ways in that on average, his hands are probably going to dish out more damage than Toby's.
Yep.
But Toby's damage is split. Once the life totals get low, that starts mattering more between arcane damage and physical damage.
Yep. Harder to defend Toby's cards.
Yes.
But,
and Toby's got some more explosive equipment.
Yeah. So you see a block for 3, take 2.
And then a Foundry Heart activation, which allows for the second pistol shot.
Yep.
And so this Arcanite Skullcap is eating the second pistol. So even off a 2-card hand there, Daniel coming in, assuming that was a red zipper hit, which I think it was, for 9 damage.
Pretty good.
Yeah, very reasonable.
Dash can put out some damage.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so now we're back to Toby's turn, starting with the classic Morven Skies into Swarming Gloomvale, make a rune chant. So 3 go again, and if it hits, I think that's a blue Morven Skies, so it's going to do 1. And then we're going to come in with the Rosetta Thorn for 2, 2, and 1.
So another 5.
Yeah. So Daniel here is pitching to prevent some of that rune chant, so 2 of the rune chants.
He can only prevent 1. Oh no, he can prevent 2. Yep, because he's got the Achilles Accelerator 2. Yep. So he's preventing 2 and blocking. Okay. So interesting there, Daniel's saying, you've just spent all 4 of your cards. We've seen that my 2-card hands are pretty good. I'm happy to come back here with the 2-card hand now.
Yeah.
And instead, interestingly, so this is one of the nerve-wracking things as the Dash player. Daniel's held a Spark of Genius, which lets him go and fetch an item. He's fetched a Teklo Core, which is going to give him 2 free resources each of the next 2 turns.
Whoa. So that's 4 resources total?
Yes.
How much does that cost to cast?
It costs XX. And X is the cost of the thing you're getting. Spark of Genius? I think that's right. I need to double check the cost of that.
No, I meant the
Teklo Core? I think it's 2. So I'm not quite sure what's going on here. I need to double check the Spark of Genius text.
Spark of Genius and Teklo Core. So
Spark of Genius costs XX. Search your deck for a Mechnologist item card with cost X. Put it into the arena. Shuffle your deck. If you boosted this turn, draw a card. Teklo Core. Maybe Teklo Core is a 0. Oh, it's a 0. Yep.
Okay.
That makes much more sense than it costing 2.
Yeah. Okay, so Teklo Core 0 dash specialization. Teklo Core enters the arena with 2 steam counters on it. When Teklo Core has no steam counters on it, destroy it. At the beginning of your action phase, remove a steam counter from Teklo Core and gain 2 resources.
So Toby has just played a Rattlebones to get a Swarming Gloomvale after playing a Runeblood incantation. So interesting that Daniel's sort of taken the turn off. So his 2-card hand was a Teklo Core. Actually, it might have been a 1-card hand because I think it was just the Spark of Genius. Doesn't look like he's arsenaled. So he had a 1-card hand, which was a Teklo Core, effectively. And Toby's come back with Rattlebones into Gloomvale for 3 go again and 1 arcane. And then we're going to have the Rosetta.
It'll be 4 because he also played an incantation that turn, it looks like. And so the Rune Blood...
counts as an aura. Yep, gotcha. Yep. So 4 on 1 arcane.
Yeah.
But no one hit effects, so Daniel not so worried about that probably.
Well, if it does hit, I believe that it's also got the...
no prevention.
No arcane prevention for the rest of the turn, which is not that
Only
scary.
if it's created 3.
Yeah, so I think that the Rune Blood incantation is 1, and then the...
1 rune chant.
Yeah, and then 2 rune chants have come through. So 1 rune chant from the... whatever...
Rattlebones, yeah.
From Rattlebones, and then
yep.
1
and
rune
then
chant from
the Swarming Gloomvale. Yep.
Swarming Gloomvale. Yeah.
And then Rosetta for 2 and 3, or 2, 2 and 1.
Yep.
And we've got a block for pitch instead. So that making that high speed impact block 3 arcane damage instead. And then take the 2 physical by the looks of things. Yeah, Daniel down to 16. So Daniel's got Teklo Core here. So the nice thing about Teklo Core in this situation from Daniel's perspective is that a 0-card hand can still potentially be load pistol, load induction chamber, Teklo Foundry Heart, load pistol. So you can still shoot twice off a 0-card hand.
Ooh, that's pretty good.
Yeah, while Teklo Core's out. So we're instead of seeing a 0 to 60 with a boost, looks like a red 0 to 60, so I think it's 4 go again.
So it's the last card in hand for Daniel?
Yeah. And he's got 2 resources sitting there, plus the opportunity to Foundry Heart.
So, coming down to the latest stage of the game here, Toby's got to be mindful of protecting his life total, But that being said, like the way that Daniel's attacking in terms of dash, the damage sources can be split up over like the pistol shots, but not as hard to block, right? You can really block. You know, your equipment's always going to block maximum 2. You know, your 2 blocks are always going to be well positioned in your 3 blocks as well. So,
and really, it's all pure damage with no on-hit triggers most of the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you can kind of math things out ahead of time in your head. And Toby's also got this Rune Blood incantation. You know, we had that turn. Daniel has played Teklo Core, set up the next couple of turns. Toby's also set up the next couple of turns with that Rune Blood incantation.
Yeah.
So we are seeing the Teklo Foundry Heart activation, which is giving Daniel the extra resource to then have the magical 3 to be able to do pistol, induction chamber, pistol.
Yeah. So coming in for 2 damage with this pistol?
Yep, and then it'll be 2 again.
Yeah. And I think Toby's just committed to going to 10.
Going to 12, yep.
Going to 12.
And coming back.
Oh, he blocked with the Skeletor. Blocked with the Skeletor for 2. And then...
Has a rune chant.
Yep. Really wants to keep 4 cards because what that allows Viserai to do is play the non-attack action as well as the attack action and be able to get in with the Rosetta Thorn. So pretty big difference for Viserai to be able to do it that way.
So Toby's banished that Swarming Gloom Veil ready for play for the rest of the turn.
One of the things that Toby could have done last turn as well is after he went to 14 there, could have blocked with the Skull Cap for the extra 1 block at this stage of the game when he's definitely behind in life. Because if things go well, he actually wants to be in front on life.
Yep. Yeah, because this is a reasonable opportunity to pivot. Because the other thing about this matchup, particularly the mid-range version, running things like Oath of the Arknight, you can just run into bricks as Viserai. And given the amount of consistent pressure that Dash is putting out, if you hit a brick hand, it's pretty bad. I mean, you can block, right? Like that's one thing, is that Dash is only putting out physical damage, so you can use your whole hand to block, but that's not always going to be ideal. So read the runes. That's off the creepers. Yep. So it's buffing the... This is exactly what you were talking about in terms of the on-hit trigger from the Swarming Gloom Veil now becoming live. So at instant speed, Toby's activated the creepers, played the read the runes, which doesn't have go again, but because it's played as an instant, that doesn't matter. Generated enough rune chants so that the Swarming Gloom Veil's all its abilities are on, so now Daniel can't prevent arcane damage for the rest of the turn. And Toby's capitalizing on that by creating 2 extra rune chants with the Quill Hand, popping the Skeletor with 7 rune chants, and Sonata.
Wow! This I didn't see coming at the start of this turn.
Now we'll
4,
go to
5,
8 rune
6.
chants if Toby remembers his trigger off the Sonata. But yes, is he going to? We'll see. Maybe not. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 2 arcane damage, which Daniel can't prevent. So it goes to 13, and Toby has 2 attacks. He can't now because he forgot the trigger on the Sonata rune chant generation. Play the Knife Blade.
No, because Skeletor reduces the cost.
Reduce the cost, right? Yep. So he can play the Knife Blade. Yep. So he's got 9 and 7 coming in, and then he can arsenal the Enlightened Strike, or that's all. He doesn't have 2 action points, so he can't come in with a Thorn.
But if he remembers these rune chants as well here. Then he's got some more rune chants being activated. So, let's see what happens now. Alright, we're going to see this come in with
9
these
and
ones.
7 unpreventable rune chant damage.
Yep, and create 2 more rune chants here.
Create 1 more.
1 more, sorry. Yep.
Yeah.
No more Dread this turn.
Nah.
Yep. So that 7 is definitely coming through. Putting Daniel to
6,
and then has to block out at least.
So he's blocking 6.
So going to 3, it sounds like.
Yeah.
And then we'll see Arsenal
of the Enlightened Strike, which is a nice threat to have.
Yeah,
if Toby goes down to 1 card, he still gets to come in for 7. When Daniel's on 3, that's significant.
Especially with the rune chant as well.
Yeah.
Which will be 2 rune chants because that incantation is also coming through.
So Toby going to 10 off a pistol, and then Daniel just drawing up. So Toby now with a 5-card hand, an E-strike in arsenal, and a significant life lead. This is going to be really tough for the dash player to pull back from here. The Sonata on that turn, like the fact that Toby had, I thought he was just going to finish with the Rosetta. That would have been big, but finishing with the Sonata hitting the 9th blade meant that Daniel had to dedicate 2 cards that he otherwise wouldn't have had to. So huge problems there for Daniel off that Sonata there.
Yeah, so now Toby's just got to work out how to maximise his damage, and he's going to want to prioritise coming with that Rosetta Thorn.
Yeah, Daniel does have Arcane Barrier too, so nothing is set in stone. There's no inevitability to it.
Yeah, but you still have to pitch 1 card to block the Arcane damage and 1 card to block the Rosetta Thorn physical damage, which is a lot.
Yep.
But the real question is Toby's hand chock-a-block full of attacks?
I mean, he's got whatever it is. The minimum we know that he can do on Mordred's a good start. The minimum that we know he can do is Enlightened Strike plus 2 Rune Chance into Rosetta Thorn.
Yeah.
Without the 2 Arcane, but now that he's got Mordred Tide,
Okay, so he's gone with the Arcanics and he's putting some in, so some resources in. So X is 1, so reveal the top 4 cards.
And he's remembered his Viserai trigger this time.
Yep. So putting the number of counters to 4, and we've got
and he's stacked his deck perfectly. Yeah.
So shuffle those in, get that 9th blade.
Quote unquote shuffle. No, I'm kidding. Yeah.
Quote unquote shuffle.
So Toby hits the perfect split off the Sonata, which is nice.
Got 1 resource floating, 4 Rune Chance in play. So if Toby can generate some more Rune Chance,
he can play that 9th blade.
Then he can play that 9th blade. Otherwise, he can pitch to play the 9th blade. Otherwise, he can just play the Enlightened Strike and use. And
he's got Creepers active, so he can, if he can pitch to play the 9th blade and still have a non-attack action. Creepers get your action point back. That works.
Yep.
Otherwise, he can just play this Enlightened Strike with Go Again, and then do something else.
Yeah.
Even Rosetta. I mean, I think even right now, Enlightened Strike with Go Again with 4 Rune Chance into Rosetta for 2 and 2 is pretty
crippling.
Brutal.
Yeah.
But Toby's actually got another couple of cards that he can play.
Yeah. So what's the different options available to Toby here? He's just trying to work out how do I maximise this to make it the most difficult for Daniel to block.
So Samoy says, so this Viserai deck, hey? Yeah, it's certainly powerful. You know, you've got 3 Mordred Tides and 3 Sonatas, which are your extremely high power cards. And if you see them on the right turns in the right order, they can do some ridiculous things that no other deck in Flesh and Blood can do.
Yeah. This is also the deck that I encouraged Sam with. I was like, yeah, Sam, if you want to play, I reckon you play this deck. I think that you like the combo versus mid-range versus aggro kind of like tempo-based strategy, whilst also having these different options available.
And we can see in this game, Toby's played reasonably aggressively, and he has not held back from attacking.
Yep.
He's attacked every turn. But he's still had the opportunity and the capacity to generate enough Rune Chance to do impactful Sonatas.
Yeah. So that Sonata, revealing a lot of cards, only hitting 2 cards into hand.
This time, but last turn, did he only get 2?
He only got 2.
Only got 2, yeah.
But what he did do as well was one of them was 9th blade.
Yes.
Yeah. And that reduced it to make it free to cast.
So Toby's spending a couple of cards here, basically, to get a couple of extra Rune Chance from that Oath of the Arknight. So it'll actually generate an extra 4 Rune Chance. So he's got 8 there, I think. And then he should have 2 floating from the 9th blade. Yep. And yeah, that Oath of the Arknight gives it +1 as well. So that 9th blade is coming in for 10. Plus it looks like 8 Rune Chance.
8 Rune Chance.
18. Yeah. And with Daniel on 3, there aren't many hands that can block 16 in Fab. Not many 4-card hands.
Yep. So going to 2 off
the Rune Chance.
Off just the Rune Chance. And then we'll see we'll block with
for 4 and take 6.
Yeah.
That's it.
And that's a good game.
Yeah, so anytime you get up above 11 to 12, you're going to be dealing some damage. And with Daniel being on 3 and 18 damage coming in.
With the Enlightened Strike in the arsenal.
Well, nothing else was coming that turn because the
Yeah, but at that
play-
stage, once Toby got down to getting Daniel down to 3,
Yeah.
and knowing that he's got him in the lightning strike, he's got to be feeling pretty good there.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I mean, the turn that Daniel went down to 3 and then basically Arsenal and passed back, there's not much coming back from there. Unless Toby has like a super whiff turn where he's got no attacks at all and has to just come in with the sword.
Yep.
That's pretty much all that Daniel was hoping for there, I think.
Yeah, which can certainly happen. So
Cool.
we'll certainly get Toby in here to have a quick chat to him.
Yeah.
We can ask him about jumping onto Viserai.
Yeah.
Good to see that Sam White is keen to jump on this deck.
It's a pretty fun deck.
Yeah.
Can't complain. All right, we'll be back in a minute. Peace out.
See you soon.
All right, so welcome back. We've got Toby Firth. He can see himself on the screen. He's
on
like,
the screen. I
that's
got my
me.
face over there. I'm in the kitchen making food. It's all good.
How'd you feel?
Cool. Good.
Yeah, you felt cool?
Yeah, it was quite a cool matchup. Yeah, I like Daniel. Daniel's a good guy, and we had a good game. And I don't think there was any mistakes. I mean, that was the main thing. It was like
You forgot one again. The
always forget
trigger that
I
I
get so
reminded you
excited.
about last week.
No, it's not. I didn't.
Yeah, you forgot the first one.
Oh, the first one.
Yeah,
the
you forgot
second
the
one.
second one
I
you
took the cards on
remembered,
the top, and
yeah.
I was like, before I do that, I want to make my.
Come
team.
inside, little, come inside.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right.
Okay.
No, you can move your chair over.
Oh, this is cute.
New technology.
This is amazing. Yeah.
So, other than forgetting a Sonata, I thought that was really well played.
Thank
We were talking about what Dash is presenting back at you as the Viserai player
Yeah.
as you were playing.
Yep.
And it's pretty much just vanilla damage. Like, there's no
for
one
sure.
hit triggers.
Do not care.
You can math out your turns
Yeah.
ahead and be
100%.
like, this is how much I reckon I'm going to be taking and how much I need to manage my life total.
Yeah, totally.
Is that kind of what you were thinking?
Yeah, I just don't care. Like the only thing you care about is T-bone. Obviously, if you get
Yep.
caught with your pants down, like so you just don't want to block with Skeleta unless you're just.
And
about
for our
to use
viewers
it.
who don't know about pants and T-bones, what are we talking about there?
So like if you block, it basically forces you to block with the armor, and so if your Skeleta is already in one and you have to block with it, there's instances where if they get a couple out, you're forced to then block with your Skeleta, which it's not like as critical in a dash matchup because you're not looking to build a load of chance because they have the sphere. So if you go the OTK route, they can just like play the item that prevents
one.
So
Yep.
like your OTK is like irrelevant. So you're just going like literally, I want to get you before you get your items out. That's essentially my game plan going into it. And if it's just vanilla damage, just take it. Like pistol shots for 2, fine. I'll come back with like arcane damage, which obviously takes more cards out of their hand, split across the turn. So
Yes, and Daniel had the double high octane turn.
he
but
did,
then
but it
didn't
wasn't that
really
impactful.
hit that much.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like when you see it come out, you're like, well, strap in. But he didn't get as much value off of it. I think you got like 3 or 4 pistol shots out of it, which is
Yep.
fine. It's still 8 damage for nothing, but it's nothing that's like you said, it's not going to get cards out of my hand to stop it when. I've got a Rattle Bones, a blue, I've got stuff in my grave, I've got some whatever it is. There's so many different things you can do with it. That, like, 8 damage, fine, because I'll probably do more than that back by keeping the cards. So yeah.
And do you sort of feel that because Dash doesn't force you to block, other than with life total threat,
Yeah.
you can choose the turns which are more impactful for you. You keep your stuff in
For
hand
sure.
and you just put it together.
Yeah, because there was a turn I think I had 2 red meet and greets, a Gloom Veil and the Morph, and it's like those cards are great, but together it's garbage. So like you got to think like he's coming in for just vanilla damage, but I don't need one of the meet and greets because I can still go like Morph, Gloom, Sword. So you can like dump off a card that you don't need. It preserves 3 damage. Like you could have a meet and greet in Arsenal, but actually it's probably not like. If it was something like a Mordred or something, you'd be like, yeah, cool, like Arsenal that. But
And you may not actually have a turn where playing the meet and greet is good.
exactly. It's not even like I wouldn't even like I'm not even that happy about running in a matchup. It's just like my sideboard is either 3 meet and greet or 3 reclamations, and it's like, well, the reclamations, like I'd rather just have the potential for the morph, and it gets non-hit as well, like especially with morph, like the meet and greet's good. But yeah, it turns like that where you're like, this is garbage. I got 2 blues and something. Like as long as you can present it a little bit or get like the Rosetta in, so you ping in like 1/2/2 because you would have played a non-attack. Like that's the main thing. So if you can do that, any cards that don't need to do that or aren't good for Arsenal, you can just preserve a bit of life. But yeah, apart from that, it's not really like you're not worried about pistol shots and stuff. Really.
And it's kind of pretty unfair, isn't it, that your weapon costs 1 and it goes for 2 and 2, and his weapon costs 1 and it just goes in for 2.
And he has to like set it up, and he has
Yeah.
to pitch cards, and he has to have chambers out, and I'm just like, yeah, cool, I can just do that off of just doing what I want to do anyway, which is not attack, and swing. So yeah, it's favoured. I'd say the Viserai. So not taking anything from Daniel, played it really well. So
yeah,
but
definitely
it's
kept
just,
the pressure on, but it's hard to. It's just hard to strip those cards out of your hand on the key turns, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure, 100%. Yeah.
Cool. Well, good luck for the rest.
Thank
What are
you.
you, 3-1 now?
3-1. Yeah.
So 2 more rounds.
2 more rounds. So yeah, if I can get well, I guess I got to win like at least one, maybe two. I don't
Yeah.
know what the breakers are like, so
Yeah,
we'll see.
it all depends on exact number of players, but
Yeah.
yeah, good luck for the rest, and hopefully
Cool.
we'll see you in the top 8.
Thank you very much, bro.
Cheers.
Cheers, boys. Famous on YouTube now.